training. Head of the School of Philosophy, Dr. Richard College writes on the importance of providing general education through systems such as ACU curriculum. The job ready graduates package is nearing the end of its first full semester of implementation. Its basic premise is that the main reason of the modern Australian university exists is to train the next generation in areas of economic need. Universities must teach Australians the skills needed to succeed in the jobs of the future, said the then federal education minister Dan Tehan when introducing the package. His successor, Alan Tuja, as has described this task as university's core business. As former University of Melbourne Vice Chancellor Glenn Davis has pointed out, our universities have always had a strong focus on professional vocational preparation, yet even alongside enhanced international research rankings, Australian higher education has drifted further towards massified vocational training over the past decade, the demand driven era. The 2020 legislation accentuated this trend in terms of both the government's job ready rhetoric and financial incentives to data enrollment in courses deemed to lack immediate vocational focus. This reshaping of the meaning of higher education raises significant concern if our universities are to retain some balance between the imperatives of education and training. Perhaps the time has come to reimagine the possibilities. One way of doing so is to consider the merits of North American style general education. How might it be applied in Australia's quite different system? Contrasting models of higher education. To use very broad categorization, Australian undergraduate education essentially follows the English, not Scottish model. It is based on 3 year discipline specific courses that prepare graduate for employment. Comparable European system enhance this with deeply integrated industry apprenticeship. In contrast, the traditional North American system works on the basis of a 4 year bachelor's degree. Roughly a third to a half of that comprises elective studies before the student selects a major. If the English and European undergraduate systems prioritize depth of specialization, the North American system priorities breadth. The former assumes general education is the job of secondary schooling. The latter provides advanced general education well into university. Technical professional training is provided largely at postgraduate level. Models of general education. General education is itself diverse and each model has its own benefits. Some approaches simply prioritize breadth requirements. This ensures students deepen their experience of range of disciplines in their first and second year. They can then choose their major in a more informed way. Other models focus more strategically on developing transferable skills, critical thinking, and problem solving, teamwork, leadership, adaptability, communication, and so on. These skills are applicable across industries. Some, some have a strong focus on civics and global citizenship. It is worth noting the attraction of North American general education for many Asian universities, including institutions in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and mainland China. Further, core curriculums have different emphasis. Some programs have a decidedly great books approach focusing on intellectual and literary heritage. Others have more mission focused curriculums such as those developed by American Catholic University. Of course, such models are not mutually exclusive. Aspects of each can be productively combined. Why bother with general education? Admittedly, arguments based on affordability and immediate employability contribute strongly to the case for specialized undergraduate degrees. What is the education of the average 17 or 18-year-old matriculant sufficiently broad and deep to then focus simply on career training? Further significant specialization is already baked into Australian year 11 to 12 schooling. This is a result of ATAR scores inevitably being prioritized in the quest for entry into professional undergraduate courses. For many students, broad education in the humanities and in the natural and social sciences is heavily curtailed by the age of 14 to 15. In this context, general education advocates point to the intrinsic, if hard to quantify, benefits of citizenry that is highly and broadly educated and critically trained. They also cite the pragmatic benefits to both individual long term prospects and to the economy as a whole. Can general education work in Australia? As long as the 3 year undergraduate degree continues to shoulder the burden of pre employment professional training, significant gains in this area will be difficult. Australia's most ambitious recent effort in this regard is the so called Melbourne model, as its former concluded, moving unilaterally to a North American 4 year undergraduate structure is currently untenable. Meanwhile, professional accreditation requirements within 3 year vocational degree leave little room for effectively subjects. Nonetheless, several Australian institutions Nonetheless, several Australian institutions already carve out limited space for broader strategic education goals. Examples include the core curriculum program run by Bond, focusing on transferable skills, ACU and UNDA focused on the Catholic intellectual traditions, aimed aimed the fetishization fetishization of job readiness. Australian universities would do well to look at creative ways to develop a more holistic education experience for all their students. This would contribute to the long-term benefits of broadly educated and critically skilled graduates. Thanking you. Please subscribe, like, comments.